Donald Trump unexpectedly tightened sanctions against Russia, and in a way that even the Kremlin did not anticipate. As is known, one of Russia's oil companies has come under United States sanctions. Lukoil decided to urgently sell off its assets and subsidiaries abroad, since they have effectively become a burden after the United States blockades. Some buyers have already been found for some of Lukoil's companies, but the United States Department of the Treasury stated that they want to check the Swiss company Gunvor, which agreed to buy Lukoil's foreign assets. In contact with Vladimir Putin, in fact, the United States made it clear that if anyone wants to buy assets from the sanctioned Russian company Lukoil, they risk coming under close scrutiny from the United States themselves, and maybe later under sanctions. Interest in Russian companies' foreign assets has sharply declined, while United States sanctions have become ineffective. Moreover, seaborne oil supplies from Russia have sharply decreased as the latest United States sanctions forced key buyers to suspend their purchases. And all of this is leading to even greater losses for Russia. My name is Pechiy, let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, and write any detailed comment under this video. Subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechiy News, the link is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. If you want to support the work of this YouTube channel, you can do so with any donation or a paid sponsorship subscription. You can do this using the links and details in the description of this video. It says there, support the Pechiy channel. Choose any format that's convenient for you. I will be grateful for any support you give. So, the Russian oil company Lukoil has faced difficulties in continuing the operation of its foreign businesses. Well, for example, Western sanctions are now disrupting oil shipments in Iraq, the operation of gas stations in Finland, and trading operations in Switzerland. And overall, the operations of Lukoil's foreign companies have been paralyzed. In October, let me remind you, the United States and the United Kingdom imposed sanctions against Russia's second largest oil company, which complicated its usual operations. The United States also issued a license granting companies around the world. There is time until November 21 to wind down any deals with the companies Lukoil and Rosneft. And here are the first, I emphasize, indirect consequences of these sanctions. Iraqi state company, State Organization for Marketing of Oil, has cancelled the shipment of 3 batches of oil this month, produced by Lukoil, as part of its share in the West Kurna 2 field, citing concerns over United States and United Kingdom sanctions. Lukoil owns a 75% stake in the field, which has a production capacity of 480,000 barrels per day, while the remaining part belongs to the Iraqi company North Oil Company. And now Iraq realizes that it made a huge mistake when it started cooperating with the Russians. Because now oil production in Iraq by this company is essentially paralyzed as well. Because there's a Russian stake and working with the Russians is no longer possible. In addition, the Geneva-based company Litasco, the trading division of Lukoil, is having trouble chartering ships after sanctions were imposed in the United Kingdom because British ship brokers refuse to work with this company, since everyone understands that it's a Lukoil company. And now, it's officially known that Litasco has reduced its staff because of the sanctions and is preparing to shut down operations. Here's another example. In Finland, there's a gas station chain called T-Boil, which is also owned by Lukoil, and now Finnish banks have started applying sanctions against Russian oil and Lukoil, which means that T-Boil gas stations will no longer be able to operate. But the most painful blow the United States dealt was in another case. At the end of October, Lukoil announced that it had accepted an offer from the international commodity trader Gunvor to purchase foreign assets that the company had been trying to sell. After Washington imposed sanctions, it became clear Lukoil's foreign companies could no longer operate normally. And that's exactly how it is. This is evident in the examples I described above. And here, the chief executive officer of Gunvor, Torbjörn Törnqvist, stated the following quote, "All of Lukoil's international activities are paralyzed. No one can conduct operations with them. A lot of jobs are at risk, and the operation of oil refining facilities could be seriously disrupted." In addition, Törnqvist said that the potential deal to acquire Lukoil's foreign assets does not include a buyback clause. Well, even if the sanctions are lifted, Lukoil still won't get anything back. And just as the Russians started to rejoice that they got off so easily, and would even get some money for their companies abroad, the United States delivers a new blow. The United States authorities have essentially stated that they can block the deal, not allowing Lukoil to sell its companies abroad. Before approving the sale of Lukoil's foreign assets to the oil trader Gunvor, the United States Treasury decided to investigate the history of the Swiss company's ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Washington stated that many in the industry were surprised by the speed with which the deal was announced. This happened just a week after the United States imposed sanctions against Lukoil. Suddenly Klopp, a new buyer, was ready to buy all of Lukoil's foreign assets. Meanwhile, several major energy companies managed to contact Lukoil and offered to buy its foreign assets, but were refused. And only the company Gunvor is ready to buy everything. According to the agreement with Gunvor, the Russian company will transfer its subsidiary, Lukoil International, which owns assets in 11 countries, to the oil trader. From oil production facilities and oil refineries to networks of gas stations and trading divisions. Overall, the company is acquiring all foreign assets, but both parties are keeping the deal amount confidential. In 2023, Lukoil International was valued at about $21 billion. And here's an interesting point. $21 billion is more than 3 times the value of Gunvor's own capital. So there are questions. Where did the money come from? But to complete the deal, the Swiss oil trader needs to get approval from the United States Department of the Treasury. And here, the United States Department of the Treasury starts to take action, because this is an unpleasant situation even for the United States of America. If Gunvor acquires Lukoil's foreign assets, it turns out that the 2 biggest deals in the life of the main owner and co-founder of Gunvor Tornquist will be made because of United States sanctions. So in fact, he makes 2 very good deals because the United States imposes sanctions. There are suspicions that all of this may be connected. So, after the sanctions against Moscow were imposed in 2014, billionaire Gennady Timchenko sold his share in this company to the same Tornquist. And now the United States Treasury has remembered that back in 2014 they issued a statement saying that the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, quote, has investments in Gunvor and he may have access to the company's funds. And it turns out that if Gunvor buys Lukoil's assets, they will still remain in Russian hands, even though formally they will be in the hands of a Swiss company. Well, now for the most important part. Gunvor was founded in 2000 by Tornquist and Gennady Timchenko. It almost immediately became the world's largest trader of Russian oil and then entered the top 3 oil traders in the world. Currently, 85% of the company belongs to Tornquist and the rest to the employees. The United States set a deadline of November 21 for Lukoil to sell its foreign assets. If not sold by then, they're lost. However, Tornquist expects a 6-month extension to complete the deal. But now there's a big question. Will the United States Treasury Department even allow the sale of Lukoil's foreign assets at all? I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.